We're now ready to begin editing our Ovens of Cappoquin video. And first, we'll take a look at all the ways that we can play and mark our clips in preparation for editing. We'll be reviewing some of the techniques that we learned in our tour of the source monitor back in Chapter 2 and expanding on some things as well. All right, so starting here in Chapter 4, we're going to start working primarily within the exercise files bin. And you can see here that I have a numbered bin per chapter. So we'll start here in Chapter 4, and we're in 4.1. Okay, so this will contain everything we need. So the first thing I want to do is load this clip here. Good bread is good for you. So I'll double click and let's play this. I'll use JKL navigation, again, where L goes forward.
I love bread.
K pauses and J goes backwards. Okay, so I'll play forward with L.
I love bread. I still love bread. And I do what my father did. I smell bread. I smell bread, yeah. I love bread. Good bread is really lovely. Good bread is good for you.
All right, I'm interested in the last part of what she says there, okay? So let's go in and mark our soundbite. Again, mark in is keyboard shortcut I, and mark out is keyboard shortcut O. So I'll find that soundbite.
I love bread. I love bread. Good bread is really lovely. Good bread is good for you.
All right, I think I've got it. Right now, I've marked a 6-second and 9-frame duration. And to play from in to out, that is Option K or Control-Shift-Spacebar on a PC.
I love bread. Good bread is really lovely. Good bread is good for you.
Okay, I think at the very beginning, she sort of clicks her tongue, and I want to see if I can get rid of that. So I'm going to switch over to my audio waveform. And let's zoom in to our waveform. I think I see it there, but let's zoom in. I'll press ++ several times. All right, and now let's go ahead and play over this.
I love.
Yep, it's right there.
I love.
So I'm just going to put my in point here, and now let's play the beginning.
I love bread.
All right, we got it. Now, one other tip I have for you is that if you just want to play the very end to the out point, there's a keyboard shortcut for that as well, and that is Control-Spacebar.
Good bread is good for you.
All right, so that can be really useful, especially when you have a longer marked segment. I'm going to go back over to looking at my video because I want to make sure that I actually want all of this space at the out point. She finishes talking earlier, but I kind of like this faraway, wistful look that she has. So I'm going to play the end of this again, Control-Spacebar. All right, if I wanted to experiment with having that cut out a little bit earlier or a little bit later, I could. Just going to zoom in a little bit, ++, and let's have it end a little bit sooner, right after she says, yeah. To update my out point, I'm just going to press O again, and it updates, and I'll play the end of that, Control-Spacebar. And that's okay, but I think I preferred the first version, so I'll just press Command-Z to get us back to our first out point. All right, now that I have marked my section, there are several things I can do. If this was something I wanted to preserve as its own entity, I could create a subclip, which is what we'll explore in the next video. Or I can just simply edit it straight into the sequence now, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to drag from the source monitor to the timeline. And here's my sequence. I'm just going to call it Editing Practice, and I'll put it inside of my sequence practice bin in 4.1. All right, so Esther starts off talking about how much she loves bread. Now let's go ahead and have her introduce herself and the bakery. So it's this clip right here. I'll go ahead and load it. And I'm going to navigate forward with L as we take a listen to the first part of this clip.
The history of the bakery is that we are a very, very small family-run bakery with 4 generations in the village of Cappoquin in West Waterford, Ireland. And we are sitting here in what?
All right, so let's actually stop right after she says Ireland. Go back to the beginning and play again.
The history of the bakery is that we are a very,
I want to start this right where she says we.
We are a very, very small family-run bakery.
All right, and I'm just going to go double speed by pressing L twice to get to the end of my soundbite.
With 4 generations in the village of Cappoquin in West Waterford, Ireland.
And I'll mark it out, and let's just play the very end of that. I'll press Control-Spacebar.
Ireland.
And let's adjust that out point. I'm going to just go to the very end of where she says Ireland. In fact, I'm going to go to my audio waveform, and I think there it is.
Ireland.
And we'll mark it out. And now I'll play the end of that again, Control Spacebar.
Ireland.
I think I'm going to give myself one more frame. So I'll tap the right arrow key, mark my out, and I think that's good. We'll bring it down. Okay, before I move on to the next shot, I just want to draw your attention to the fact that if I placed another in and out point within the same clip, my previous in and out point disappears. All right, so remember that because this forms the foundation of our next movie on why you would want to make subclips. All right, so the last thing I want to show you is how to mark in and out points from the project panel. I'm going to just double click on my 4.1 bin. And I'm in icon view, which is important, so make sure that you have icon view selected. And I'll make this larger by pressing tilde, and I'll make the individual clips larger as well. All right, so these now behave just like little movies that I can play and mark. All right, so if I come to this clip right here and I play, I can use my JKL navigation, and then I can also press I and O when I found the portion that I want to mark.
It means that, it's a very sustainable business because you've had 2 world wars in that time. You've had 2 world wars in that time, and we've had a civil war, and we've had lots of recessions, and barons are still making a living on the side of the street in Capperquin.
All right, so there's my in and out. If I load this in the source monitor, you can see that I have my in and out point here. And then if I was to drag this right from the bin, you can see that only my marked portion gets brought in. All right, so as you can see, marking shots is really key to defining the moments that you want to include in your sequence.